Welcome to the Friendly Aussie Podcast.
To the Friendly Aussie Podcast.
Oh man, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this.
Are we a meter and a half away? Are we good?
Let me move back a bit.
Yep.
We're good.
Okay,
We're good.
Good. All right.
Move this forward a bit.
Oh,
All right.
Yep. Let's get the fuck away. Okay, good.
I
think we're doing things legally now. So today we are here with G.
Hello.
Oh, we got another lady on. It's been a while.
Hi.
Who was the last
A
one?
lady.
Jenny would have been the last one. Yep.
Strong, independent woman, Jenny Howell.
Yeah, and then we had the Her
Yes.
Highness girl. So we need to bring a little more equality in.
Yep.
And what better way than
It's-
with G?
It's nice to know that I'm being brought in just to tick a box. It
Yep.
really feels
Yep.
good as a woman.
Doesn't it?
We get it all the time. I love it.
Yeah.
Token
lady.
sovereign.
Well,
Yeah.
listen. It's just we get hit up by more men. Like, what do you want us to do?
I can relate to that.
Oh, that's awkward.
There's a lot of men in the cannabis space, actually.
There
It's
is.
got to be said.
Yeah.
Kind of male dominated.
I think there is a lot of chicks too. They're just
It's
really
true.
more hiding. Like, they hide more than the dudes.
They don't get involved in the social.
Well,
activity.
there's a chance that they're mums, and if they're mums, they don't really want that out there necessarily.
True. Additionally, I guess there's the
Not all, but
there's
like
the case that a lot of things that the cannabis like events, for instance, can be kind of blokey sometimes. So
that's true. They're
Girls
very
might stay
yeah. I don't
Safety in numbers, ladies.
Listen,
It's a sad thing to say.
I'll
but,
explain
you know.
why that is. I've got a quick one for you.
yeah.
Ready? The reason men love cannabis more than women is purely because cannabis is a female plant. So therefore, the man loves the woman. Like,
How do you explain the gay cannabis love? Huh?
oh, like there's plenty of it.
No.
Gee.
This is going to open a can of worms that you guys
Gee,
don't want.
are you a lesbian for cannabis?
Listen. Yes.
See? Yeah, exactly.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's all.
No comment.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to go. Bye.
Bye.
Taking your drink with you. See ya.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
All right. So today we've brought G on the podcast. Why? Because she is someone who's only just recently experienced cannabis in all its glory.
Yes, as of like 6 months ago.
Yep.
Bit of
So
a newbie.
I know. I'm a little baby.
she's fresh to this scene.
A little baby smoker.
And for me, it's pretty interesting because when you have someone so fresh and you are how old? 27, 8?
27. We're not going to say I'm 28 yet. Thank you.
Yeah, not yet.
I might be 28
Probably
by the time this
28
comes out,
yeah.
though.
I reckon that's a great age to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually the smartest age. After 25 is like what
Like,
the science says.
my brain is fully formed as a human being. So,
Oh, God, why?
I know. All of my habits are set in stone now. There's no breaking
Do
them.
you think you've reached your final form there?
Does anyone ever reach their final form, though?
What,
No.
9,000?
Yeah.
No, Goku was just lying. He's like, that's bullshit, bro.
But 6 months. But before the 6 months, what were your experiences with cannabis?
So, my first time getting high, it was, I think from what I can remember, it was when I was in high school. And
Wow.
I went to, so like year 12 or something like that. So I went to a mate's place and they had someone come over and they're like, oh, you know, like their old mate came over and whatever. And I said it was my first time and they were like, oh, you know, just be careful. And I was like, oh, okay. And then we ended up going up to my mate's room and just punching some cones, as they say.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
These fucking high schoolers just punching cones.
Punching cones with the old Gatorade bottle and a bit of hose.
Ooh, it had the hose.
It had the hose.
Yep.
Got to be authentic.
Green?
Hey?
Green?
Of course.
Yeah?
Who you taking for?
I don't know, man. I've seen some orange cones lately.
Oh, it's true.
Some orange hoses, sorry, yeah. It's just, they're around.
So yeah, we
look
went upstairs and like hotboxed his room with a couple of other friends. And I just remember feeling, I was like, I coughed my guts up, obviously, even though I was a bit naughty and smoking cigarettes at the time as well. But
She
you know,
was already a delinquent.
I know.
Your mother would be so
Yeah,
proud.
and I just remember we were sitting and watching TV and I was like, I felt like I couldn't move and I could feel the way it was a hot afternoon, so we had the ceiling fan on and I could feel each individual hair on my arm moving.
Whoa.
And I was like, what is going on here?
State of
And I was-
awareness.
yeah. So, I mean, we had pizza and everything, and then I, sprayed deodorant all over myself before Mum came, and oh no, we had a deodorant fight because we're just crazy teenagers, and yeah, and then I just went to bed. So that was my kind of first experience.
Wow.
But I wasn't that much of a fan because it did kind of make me a bit stressed.
Yeah, it would have been trippy.
Yeah, and then any time after that, I smoked with my friend. It was like, having cones and everything. And I just got really like anxious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd have a good time and get giggly and everything. But then, 5-10 minutes later, I'd be like, okay, I'm done with this feeling now. I want it to go away. And
Yeah, right.
yeah. So it wasn't a good time for me, especially one night. I came home after having some drinks with friends and they had a joint and we were like, okay, well, we'll have a go at it. And me, once I have some alcohol, I don't know when to stop. Like,
Oh, so you were drinking at the
I've
same
witnessed
time.
I was
Nice.
drinking at the same time.
See, alcohol and cannabis have a really interesting interaction where especially people say grass before beer, you're in the clear. Beer before grass, you're on your ass.
Yeah.
There's a kind of interaction that happens on the physiological level.
Yeah.
Where if you have a lot of alcohol and then you try to just smoke some weed, you'll get completely fucked and you'll end up probably throwing up.
Yeah, 100%. Like just throwing up everywhere. It
Is that
wasn't
what
good.
happened?
No. So we went down to the cricket pitch in a park and was sitting in the nets, passing around a joint. And then I literally was just couch bound. Once we got home, I was couch bound. I couldn't move. I had
Whoa.
tears streaming from my face. And I was like, I
Uh-oh.
can't stop any of this. I was texting my boyfriend at the time, his mate, because he smoked weed and only just like started in a relationship. And I was like, hey, like, how do you know if somebody's greened out? Or like, what do you do if somebody's greened out? Like asking for a friend. Yeah. So, and then a cat attacked me. Actually, I was laying on the couch and my hair was falling down. The cat jumped up on me and attacked me. And yeah. So, I mean, I didn't have,
a whole ordeal.
it was a whole thing. So
Yeah.
I didn't have like the best experience, quote unquote, growing up around people who smoked cannabis. So I was like, you know what? It's just not for me. And
Do you
that's
think
okay.
it was because you had some very stressful experiences while they
absolutely.
were happening? Or
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I was having panic attacks and all of that. And at the time, I didn't realize that I had a problem with like anxiety and everything. And maybe I just needed to find my strain.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I hear
Ooh.
that. Like actually 100%, when you're anxious, when you're an anxious being, sometimes the awareness of your own anxiety can be enough for you to make some very important rational decisions
Yeah.
around what you're going to do in those contexts.
Yeah.
It's like a management of your own anxiety.
yeah,
Of your own-
100%. And I didn't know at the time that I had issues with anxiety. So when I was feeling all of these feelings that came up, depending on what I was smoking, PGRs, strains, whatever, then I wouldn't really know. So
But it's interesting. She's now back. She's back to the cannabis.
Yeah.
She's found a new love.
yeah,
You've just told us you're a lesbian for cannabis. There's a love there now.
there is.
Uh-oh.
I know.
What's happened? What's changed? How did this happen? What? How? Why? Where? Tell me.
So I started dating a new person,
Oh, yeah?
He
and
who
basically,
shall not be named.
he who shall not be named,
Oh,
Voldemort.
he's definitely a fuckwit then.
Hasn't got a nose.
Nah. Anyway, I started dating somebody who's quite in the cannabis scene,
Ooh.
and
He's a mystery man.
yeah,
Oh,
Mystery.
like 007,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, kind of
Oh.
like a secret agent.
A
Yeah.
secret agent.
Yeah.
Whoa.
yeah.
Sounds like a badass.
You're an
You could
idiot.
say that. You could say that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he smoked like every day, and I was like, oh, not really my thing. And like he'd always offer and go, oh, I've just got this one now and all of that. Do you want to try it? Do you want to smell it? And I was like, you know what? They all smell and taste and all of that the same. That's disgusting.
Sacrilege.
Keep it away from me. I don't want anything to do with it.
Wow.
Yeah. And he even would be vaping, so it wasn't like the harsh smell that you get from
No
cones
bongs.
and joints and everything. It was
No
just
bongs. Sounds like a good man.
okay. Yeah, we get it. It's you. Shut up.
That was so organic.
Yeah.
Nice, Joseph.
I'm very
He's
happy
sitting
with myself.
there looking at me, going, "You gonna say it's me? You gonna say? Are you
No,
gonna say it's me?
I was just going to
What's
try and
on?"
give myself as many compliments as I could before you actually said it was me. That was all
Right.
it
It was a real opportunity to
Yeah.
push yourself up.
Listen,
Yeah.
my ego's been really high lately, so I just wanted to take it to another level.
It doesn't matter where it's at. You just need to take it up a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Turn it
like-
up a notch.
Correct.
Yeah, my ego's at 11,
Always.
maybe 12.
It's hard.
It's actually at 14 when I'm with you.
Aw.
Oh, it's gonna make you
Out
feel
of
so good
100.
about yourself. Ooh, okay.
But anyway, so this kind fellow that you met,
Okay, so moving forward, just to circle back, guys.
Yep. Let's return.
Okay, so I started dating you.
ooh, yep,
Yeah.
me.
And you're smoking every day and all of that. Like, not in an unproductive way, because I will say I have dated men in the past before who will just sit there, punch cones, play FIFA, and ignore me.
Ooh.
So yeah, like, or like, you know, he'd look over, be playing FIFA, and be like, you know, and like little kissy faces, or hold my hand or something, and he's like, "Oh, can you touch my back while I play FIFA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, while you ignore me, thank you, you dirty dropout, punching your cones, doing nothing with your day." Sorry, that got a bit more personal than I needed it.
It's fine.
And I meant it to go.
Sometimes you have experiences with your dating choices that inform your future dating.
Correct. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna not date a stoner, but I'm gonna date a productive stoner.
Whoa,
You know,
it's so kind.
you're so
So
welcome.
nice.
Hit
Go
that
be
bar.
productive.
Hit that bar, bro.
Yeah. Like the bar was raised, but just a little bit.
Oh, did I Michael Bay it?
What?
I raised the bar.
Oh, right.
I don't
see.
get it.
Michael Bay is always raising the bar.
Which bar?
Wait, I'm not thinking Michael Bay. I'm thinking of who did Avatar and The Matrix.
Fucking
James Cameron. James Cameron. He's the one who's always raising the bar.
And to be honest, is he? Is he really raising the bar?
He says
in
he
my
is.
opinion.
If I'm
He
gonna
says
be-
he is.
yeah.
That's the thing. He says he is.
All right. Well, look, I'm happy to accept that from James Cameron.
The thing is, you guys haven't seen the South Park episode. There's
No,
an
I
episode about James Cameron raising the bar, and he's like trying to literally raise this bar like under the Antarctic to get it up higher.
All right, that's pretty
It's great. It's great. I really want Avatar 2 to come out. By the way, I only just watched Avatar 1 this year due to this lady.
Yes,
Dude,
I made you watch it.
only watched Avatar.
Literally
1
only one
now.
now.
Do you
Because
know
of me.
that I've watched Avatar maybe 24 times, and it's become so bad that I don't like. I can remember important scenes in that film, but I still don't know what it's about.
Oh,
still
I
don't
love
know
it.
what Avatar.
Do you know
as
what
a film
Avatar?
is
No.
about.
Do you know what it is? Have you seen Fern Gully?
Yes,
It's Fern Gully for adults. That's
I
what
get that.
Avatar
I
is.
get that. Totally. I'm with you.
What's
But
not to get about Avatar?
for fuck's sake, it just fucks with me that it's the most highly grossed film of all time.
I don't think that's anymore, but it was.
It was at
Wasn't
one
it
time.
one of the first to come out on in 3D? When
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a big 3D flick, one of the new 3D flicks. And then
It was the only one that actually did 3D well.
it's like it
From
just
what-
shows you that sales aren't always important when it comes to cultural impact or like influence. Because I don't think that Avatar. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Perhaps there's a bunch of like pop culture spin-offs that are based upon Avatar and the ideas that were explored
That it
in
came
Avatar.
through. Yeah.
Like, you know, Interstellar.
it
and all
really
that,
didn't do
Like
much.
Prometheus and shit.
Yeah.
But I actually
100 actually for me.
Yeah, right. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't fucking know.
Oh well.
Fucking Avatar
we'll
gets
see.
me fucking heated.
No, I'm down for Avatar. I fucking love it.
I've only
It's just so
seen
pretty
Mitch
to look
getting-
at.
It's super pretty.
It's so pretty.
But like what I love about it actually is how like technically wonderful and aesthetically wonderful it is. But the story itself plays with me.
Why?
I think it's that it's so generic.
Yeah,
It's
I felt
so
that.
generic.
Yeah.
It
It's
felt like I've seen that story like many times. before.
Exactly.
It was really
Because you
strange that
have.
And then I
Yeah.
watch it for the 27th time and I'm like, I still don't really grasp it because there's no like distinct landmarks. It's like I'm just watching Hollywood the movie.
Yeah.
Hollywood flick the movie.
But isn't that good though compared to like Hollywood flick covering comic books, the movie. You know? Do you know what I mean?
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's slightly better than most of the Marvel movies.
The reality is the best movies nowadays are made under the like $5 million budget.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I looked at like I think it was like RT top movies of like the years and whatnot, and most of them were all on lower end budgets. It was all somewhere under like 5 mil.
Well, international films have been doing really well recently. Did you guys see Parasite? Did you end up
Strong
seeing
no.
it?
Need to see that. I
Yeah,
do
he
wanna
wanted
watch
to
it.
take me.
Guys, you got to see Parasite.
I don't like going out to see movies.
You don't have to. You got to fucking pirate it off the internet like a real.
No, that's
human
not what you
being.
do because
Yes.
you're not allowed to do that.
No, you do because you want to fuck the law, eat my dick. That's word of pimp. That's what. That's what.
Oh, yeah.
That's what. Run the Jewels says. That's what.
Run the jewels, run the
Killer
jewels.
Mike says.
Run the jewels.
Got to listen to Killer Mike.
Who
Killer
dat?
Mike. Dude
Killer
from Run the
Mike.
Jewels.
Just an MC.
We've gone
From
way
Atlanta.
off topic.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
But that's all right. This has all started with a fucking Avatar rant. Fun moments with Fab. This is what
Welcome to our
happens
podcast.
when you put some stoners in a room together. You know, like
Do
But-
I classify myself as a stoner now? Is that what I
Ooh.
do?
This is
Ah.
something I've been
I
thinking
don't
about
know.
because it's a real identity to call yourself a stoner.
Exactly, because for me, so this is me coming fresh into the scene with no knowledge of what it's actually like. When I think of somebody who smokes weed, I'm like, oh yeah, fucking 420 man.
fucking love
like,
punching cones
fucking
after
love
work, eh,
punching
bros?
cones.
Sometimes I just bring my bong to fucking work and hitting the ute, eh?
That's why we have such a responsibility to like overturn that narrative and stereotype.
Because
everywhere.
all I would think was like, oh, they're just staying home and getting high, and not do anything, and
I
they
love how
can't
that
keep a
voice comes
job.
in.
And well, I was gonna go with the character, and then I figured no, I was talking about my past opinion, so I better just talk like me. But no, you do think for me, who's like middle class, regular white girl, normie, when you think of people who smoke weed, you go, oh, you're fucking 420 man, like fuck the police, fuck the government, I'm just gonna do what I want and
Well,
whatever.
it's
who
not
cares?
wrong, but like not like that.
Well,
You know, like
I guess that's I think
like
that's the
Mitch
main
was
thing.
saying. Like Mitch was saying, it's like, do you identify as it? And
I don't know, and that's the question. Do I ask? Because what is that
What
identity
is
of
a
a
stoner?
stoner?
what is a stoner?
It's a philosophical question.
It is because it's broad. Because I wouldn't classify myself as a stoner, and yet I do smoke weed every day now. It's not something I
Right.
need to do, but it's something that I like.
I think that a lot of people feel like that, how, like, you know, they may not necessarily be embedded or they may not try to embed themselves in a culture, a cannabis culture, but they're still, like, you
You're
know,
still a part of that. Culture.
nominally you're part of the community because you smoke weed, basically. And so that's what we need to look at. The cannabis culture, the cannabis community is part of plenty of people who just go about their daily lives in a very normal kind of way.
Yeah.
When we get into this conversation, we start to talk about what is normal. We begin to see that, like, there are plenty of human beings who have this plant fit into their lives like a puzzle piece in the right kind of way. And it becomes a long-term sustainable thing for them to do. There are other people who they might actually have...
It's like a wrecking ball.
Well, that's the weird thing about... Not really, but I wasn't going to say it was a wrecking ball.
Addictive personalities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people who I guess have some sort of connection to trauma that is perpetuated through kind of the act of smoking or
Well, yeah, I mean, I
consuming
found
cannabis.
for me, when I started smoking weed more, I 100% drank less.
Ah, yeah,
That's
true.
interesting.
It was like an immediate switch over for, because you remember when I first started dating you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like
we.
it
If
was
she
a lot.
was sober, it was fucking rare. I tell you.
Yeah, it was. And I would only come over in the nighttime because I was like, oh, well, I can't come over in the day because I can't drink during the day. And like, that's not what ladies do. And I can't do that. So, I'd come over in the evening, like with drinks or like come after a party or something like that to hang out. But yeah, I would be drinking, like I drank a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
See, like right now tonight, I'm on my second beer. This is the fucking first beer I think I've had in like 2 months, like almost.
Yeah, goodness me.
Like I think I've had like 1 or 2 beers out at a pub or something, but like that's it. And I'm like, it's because like I used to like drinking, but then I realized smoking just gives me such a better time.
Drinking can be cool in certain contexts.
It's the context, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like very much the same. I find more enjoyment out of, I guess, I don't know, having a connection to cannabis and to people within that context. Like I
Yeah.
find that, I don't know, smoking weed or like having a joint in comparison to drinking at a pub with people, it's a different atmosphere and different
You're on a different
experience.
vibe, man.
I'm just on a
100%.
different vibe, man.
But
exactly.
What I was gonna say that's interesting though, you talked about how you needed kind of like the confidence to come over here with the alcohol to me, right?
Yeah.
Right. What I find funny is now that you smoke, do you find it easier to hang out with people that you maybe otherwise wouldn't have had?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Because what I kind of wanted to get at was, for me, even if I've been pre-drinking a little and I'm heading to a party, my anxiety is like up much higher than if I've been smoking and then heading to a party where I've been smoking.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Like,
Yeah, so like if I would go to like out clubbing, which I mean, we can't do that now because it's Corona time.
Oh, everything's locked down.
Everything's locked down.
we should start a club after this called the lockdown.
Oh, true.
All beach. And
Or
we'll
the
just,
quarantine.
The quarantine?
no, we'll serve quarantinis at the lockdown.
They'll just be like hazard stuff.
And no
like
one is
Hazmat
allowed.
suits.
hazmat suits, but like the yellow hazmat like film shit. What's it called? The
Tape.
Tape. That's it. Yeah.
We'll just have like glow in the dark biohazard stickers everywhere,
I really like this.
and we'll keep everyone in
It's
for 2
just
weeks.
hard techno all the time.
Okay, we get Sam to do them.
Yeah, Sam's doing it. Watch episode 3. That's Sam. I think that was Sam. No, that Sam was episode 4. Sam was episode 4.
I thought it was Adam. That was 4.
5.
Yeah, Sam
Sam's
was
episode 5. Sam, watch Sam
Sam, make sure to watch yourself, all right?
before you wreck yourself.
Exactly.
Anyway, just to circle back, guys.
Yeah, we're really good at interviewing.
That's what it
No,
is.
that's okay. I saw that meme about when you're locked down and you realize you're dating the just to circle back guys person. So I can't. That is an earworm in my head now, and I can't not say it. So just to circle back, yes, when I would be drinking and go to a club, as soon as I stepped out of the taxi, I would feel completely sober. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd hit that fresh air and you'd be like, oh, I'm
Man,
sober again because of anxiety.
My
But then
brother like says that he'll pre-drink and then he'll get to the valley and it'll
Feel
be
sober.
like he's sober.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I get that. I've had that before I go out. It's often
It's like the
think it's
fresh air and
anxiety.
I think it's a bit of anxiety.
it's like, what am I going to get up to tonight?
Because
Fuck,
like
who
when
am I gonna-
when you're drinking with your friends, you're having a good time. You're not worried about if anyone's thinking anything of you or if anyone, you know, and you get out and then all of a sudden there's all these strangers who are out and about and you have to make it through the door where there's security and they scan your ID and you have to be sober enough to get
Super
in.
intense.
Like
Wait till you
it's
take a
lot.
tab of acid and go through the valley at night.
Oh, dude.
It's such a thing.
Just don't even talk to me. The
It's-
times that I've been to...
It's so fucked, man. Like, because you're just like, I am in the Matrix. I am walking through the Matrix. The people are moving around me, not me through them. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, it's like I am literally the Futurama fucking spaceship where
Yep.
the universe like fucking morphs around me and I don't move at all. Yeah, no, it is weird. It's strange. You know how you can like, I don't know, you can kind of karate chop people on acid without ever having to do anything like that. Like you just get to shift time and space.
Yep. Well, one of those trips that I've had with the cops was when I was tripping in the valley was with cops, and I've had it a few times with other things.
Oh.
But they always like, I'm sitting there, they'd walk past me and they just give me a wink.
Oh,
Like they knew straight up. It was this vibe like,
buddy.
don't worry, buddy, you just keep watching. Like it's like they were like conscious of me being like conscious. It was such a fuck.
Or maybe you just thought that.
No, the thing is, I had it with like 3 different events. 3 times I've experienced cops on trips, and all of them, it's like they knew and they were just like, enjoy your night, enjoy your trip, like on your way. It was always just this subtle like, you're good, mate, you're good.
Maybe it's their higher
Even
self.
though your pupils are just like,
Bam.
They decide to give you grace, like God enters into their bodies just to be like,
but anyway.
all right, you'll have a
Circling
great
back, we're,
So just to circle back, yeah, no, if I were to go out now, if I could, I can't. But if I were to go out now stoned, I like wouldn't have an issue because you just stay on that same level, and that
You just, as long as you're not too wrecked. Obviously.
as long as you're not too wrecked, and it just kind of keeps you on that thing of everything's fine. Don't even worry about it. So yeah, that was my first proper experience was with you. Weird.
We shouldn't say first proper. We should say first good.
First good, experience was with you. And like, I remember we were just on the bed vibing and we smoked, we vaped because
And it was the oil or the dry herb? I think I gave you dry herb first.
I think it was the dry herb first, yeah. So we had that, and then it was maybe a couple of minutes later, and I was like, oh, I just feel really relaxed. And he's like, yeah. Well, I say it like you're not here, but you were just like, yeah, you know, that's the weed. And I was like, what are you talking about? Every experience I had with weed, like I've had this like heavy feeling in my chest, and I've like been giggly for a minute and then just got really head spinny and felt a bit sick and was like, ugh, I just feel heavy and yuck and bleh.
Hey, Mitch, what do you think did that?
Well, I don't know. I was going to say it is a bit of a psychedelic trip. Like cannabis does modulate whatever's going on within your own headspace. And I find the same with, I don't know, like more potent, perhaps, psychedelics like LSD, psilocybin.
Of course.
They have similar effects in the sense that they're magnifying a lot of the emotional intensity.
Yeah.
So you're getting this kind of like direct experience of your own emotions as far as it goes.
I was going to go
Cannabis
somewhere
can
else.
be used to like dull that shit as well, but I don't know. It's
I was
weird.
going to go somewhere else, actually, just more by her symptoms.
Yeah.
Oh, you botched it. It's fine. Ready? I wanted like a piano sound, and it would be like PGR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
Probably.
think about it. It's like this chest, you're nauseous, you're spinning, like you're going giggly, you're going like, the thing about it, you're going through the entire high really quickly.
Yeah, that's what I felt. It was like a really fast like spiral downwards is what
like,
I'd
think
say.
about when you used to smoke PGR, right? To maintain that, you'd have to keep smoking to keep getting your high. And what you're looking for was that first like 10-minute rush, 15-minute rush.
Well, because what I would get would be like a cough up a lung, obviously, because I literally cannot smoke bongs as much as I try. Like I can, but it's horrible. I will cough up all of my insides.
It's not good.
No, it's not good. And yeah, so I'd have a coughing fit, and then I'd be laying in the bed like, oh God, am I going to make an idiot out of myself now that I'm high? And what is it like to be high? And I don't really know this feeling. And then I'd sit there and then start overthinking things and then get giggly. And then I'd just have this horrible like tightness, heavy feeling in my chest. And then it'd be like,
It could
okay,
have
I
been
want
really
this to be
shitty weed.
stop.
Shit weed, man.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I just want this to stop. This is enough. Well, most of my experiences have been kind of with like maybe 2 people before I started smoking full time with you.
Full-time smoker.
Yeah.
But, so, one of the things I need to actually write a full article on, I've been meaning to do it for a while, and I think we could do a podcast, just me and you.
Yeah, cool.
Or maybe with someone I know that's never smoked cannabis before. But I really want to do like a how to introduce someone new to cannabis sort of guide.
Yeah,
It's,
cool.
I've talked about it a few times, but the way I did it with G first was with a dry herb vape. And with the dry herb vape, she didn't like the flavor too much yet because of, I don't know.
It just tasted weedy. Like,
Weedy.
and because
I understand what you mean.
just like PTSD of my other weedy experiences
Yeah.
that have literally all been bad.
The thing about vape, like dry herb stuff especially, I think, you know, when you're using the alternate or the mighty,
Yeah.
they have a kind of like, their chamber kind of singes the weed in a way where you get like kind of like burnt cannabis smell.
Yeah. It's got it a little bit. It's especially if they're not clean.
Yeah, true.
Depends on how clean the vape is. That makes a big factor. So that'll probably go in the guide. But anyway, we tried that a few times. I think maybe only twice. I don't remember it too often early days with you.
No, it
And
wasn't often
then
at all.
I grabbed a dab pen, an oil vape pen, which I don't remember the strain at the time. It might have been a Louis, like a Legends Ultimate Indica.
No, it was wedding cake.
Wedding cake? Okay, so it was wedding cake. She remembers.
I remember.
Oh, that's
because
trippy.
No, because it was one of my. Of course, I remember because it was one of my first experiences with it.
There you
Man,
go, yeah. My first experience was an unnamed strain. I had no fucking idea.
It was wedding cake, and then
Then I got Louis, and I think I had a blueberry and
blueberry and wedding cake. You had, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember those ones.
But the wedding cake, these carts were pretty good. So like they were made from rosin, so like a heat press. I don't think they were distilled. No, they weren't. Okay. So yeah, they worked pretty well, and she got into them because the taste kind of became way more pleasant, I would say.
Yeah, because it didn't taste weedy. That's the thing. It was, I don't know, like almost weirdly kind of clinical, but not. What I can say, it reminded me of going to the dentist.
Yeah. The wedding cake was a weird one.
Yeah.
So the thing about the wedding cake is like how it was made, it was added terpenes. So as a result, it was bringing out these flavors. It was a little minty. I remember that, and airy.
No, I was thinking, I'm actually a little bit worried about the coronavirus and people getting bored and wanting to crime.
I thought you were going to say wanting to cry.
No, just wanting to crime. Words don't own me.
Well, yeah, that is the big concern. I was talking to a good friend of mine. You know him as our good friend Nick.
Yeah.
And he's got a housemate that's a cop, and he was having a chat, and he said that the junkies, they're getting more itchy at the moment with all this corona stuff because it's getting harder to get on, right? Their supply's drying up because borders have closed, all of that sort of stuff, and the road's more empty, so being on the road, in a sense, you're more exposed.
Also, a lot of people that are homeless or insecure with their housing, so that's an issue.
That's a whole issue. So what I was going to say about that whole thing is they're getting a little more itchy. And that can come with so many negatives. Like I couldn't quite imagine going through the Valley. Just for people's reference, in Brizzy we have like a clubbing district, which is probably where the most homeless people in Brisbane
Fortitude
live.
Valley.
I went there like today.
Oh yeah,
in the day.
Oh, Store DJ.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. How great is that store?
It's an amazing,
it's such
magical
an
place. It was my first time there. So I was just like blown away.
Yeah.
Couldn't touch anything though because of the coronavirus.
Did you go downstairs?
Yeah, I was in both spaces.
Yeah, it's so cool. You got the guitars,
I wanted to buy
How many
one of those
other people were in the space though?
Oh, like the people who worked there who were just hanging out.
And that was it?
And there was, I think, one other dude playing guitar.
Was everyone obeying social distancing regulations?
Basically, yeah.
That's good. That's positive.
I think that the main thing was that nothing was being transmitted by like people playing synths, for instance, which is a pretty usual thing to happen in Store DJ. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful store. But like one of the weirdest things that I found about just being out in the city is how some people aren't really in a position where they can social distance all that well. So there's like people sitting on the benches of Brunswick Street Mall outside of the McDonald's with like a face mask, but they're like sitting right next to probably their family member or something.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just like there's probably a lot of people out on the streets, so to speak, who might also have some kind of dependency problem.
Yeah. And
they're in a position where at the moment they're being targeted by the police because they're out and they're in numbers. And additionally, they don't really have anywhere to go. Maybe the job seeker stuff could help if they were on or in that system. But
yeah, they have to get in it.
You have to get in it.
So that's weird. I think the other big thing is if there's going to be like mass arrests for people being out, are we going to increase the non-violent prison population? And what happens inside of prisons in the middle of a pandemic? What happens if someone inside the prison gets coronavirus?
Correct.
Everyone in the prison is going to get coronavirus.
They're just like little like
unless they isolate everybody.
Yeah, they're just like cruise ships, really. If one gets it, everyone's gonna get it.
Get it.
These are really good questions, Mitch, and I'd love to be able to have the answers, but I just don't know.
No one does. This is the weirdest thing about it. It's like a really uncertain time.
Yeah.
The human species has got its best monkeys working at it.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan and his friends
Yeah,
have
that was
not
exactly
yet
what I was thinking.
have not yet
Channel.
communicated through DMT to and reasoned with the coronavirus
Yeah.
effectively enough.
That would do it. Do we all need
Do
to
we?
just do
Okay,
that?
listen. I know I've talked about this a lot recently, but do we actually need to start a cult?
No, we don't, Georgia. This is not what the world needs.
We're starting,
Sorry.
Georgia, we don't start cults anymore. We start brands.
Oh,
Right.
that's just okay. Fine. You guys have your own moral compasses. I'm not
you
here
know
to-
I'm right,
to
Mitch.
grandstand.
Brands are fucking cults.
Yeah, they are. You're right, but I'm not. I'm not subscribing to the facts.
I mean a cult as in far as let's all go in the bush, take some psychedelics, and just connect to the world and be like, hey, coronavirus. what
She's
do we
talking
do?
about doofs.
Nice meme, Joseph.
Great.
Well, she is.
We've gone off tangent. We've
All
gone
right.
off topic.
We need to actually get back to where we were.
So
we had a short break, just momentarily, where
Momentarily for like half an hour.
things happen.
they don't need to know.
Okay, they don't need to know. They don't need to know that your butt is tiny. They don't need to know.
No, they don't.
It's not just about that, Joseph.
Okay.
Are you being me?
No.
I think Mitch was mocking her. Okay. Anyway, we're talking
Okay,
about wedding
back on
cake, the
track.
strain. So we started you off with wedding cake, the
Yes.
cartridge.
Yes.
So what's interesting about the cartridge is that's how I've been enjoying introducing people, because it's really manageable on how much you have. You have 1-2 puffs and you are done. Like, that's all you need to experience what it is. But the thing with the carts is it has a different feeling to the full flower effect. How would you describe the difference?
I found, well, because we started off on carts, like you started,
Flower, but quickly carts.
yeah. Anyway, so I found the difference for me was that the dry herb vape was kind of, you'd get high and you'd stay there. And that was your experience. It's just like you're coming up and then you're up and then you're good and you chill out, whatever. But I found for the oil vapes, there was a significant like 2 rises. So you'd come up initially, then sort of go down and you'd be like, oh, okay, I feel back to normal now. That wasn't really long lasting. And you'd keep going about your day for a little bit. Then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, fuck. You know?
How did that go again?
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Anyway, it kind of punch you in the face a little bit later. And then sort of you'd stay there and then slowly come down again. So I found it was 2 different rides.
Joseph on the
From-
oil right now.
Yeah, Josep's on the oil vape right now.
This is Miss USA.
Miss USA Beach.
She's really strong. You have like 3-4 hits and she punches you a bit and then she comes again and punches you again.
There you go, a bit like Georgia described.
Yeah. So, and I think that's what I've been finding the most fun about my cannabis experience is that when we manage to get our hands on different strains or whatever, I'm a bit more, I don't know how to word this. I can sort of tell the difference between each strain, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially when you do the dry herb, because that flavor profile comes out like way more.
Yeah. So when we tried the thin mint,
Oh.
that really had a cookie kind of taste for
Yeah.
me in a weird way.
Cookie, but it was so fresh. Like it had that like.
Yeah. And I found, what was it? It was Black Diesel that I tried. So really pretty, which is weird for me to say because every time I'd see a different strain, I'd go, oh, it just all looks the same. And it all smells the same. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is shit.
Yeah, it's just shit. I hate it. It doesn't smell good. It doesn't taste good. I don't know why you like it. Anyway, so he was very
alright.
he was very persistent with me.
He was.
Try this, smell that. What does that smell like? You know, and I was like, oh, it all smells the same. And then you showed me the difference between 2 completely different ones. I don't know what they were, but they smelled completely different. He's like, does that smell the same? And I'm like, fine, it smells different. I get it. It's fine.
And
begrudgingly.
now,
So
where are we at now?
So now, if anything new comes in, I'm like, oh, what's this? Smell, like, I want to smell that. I'm like, oh, look at the colors in that. Hang on, let me get a photo and zoom in so I can see all, so I can see all the crystals on it, and so I can see all the different colors and like.
It's just really fun.
Yeah.
Like when you get into the hobby side of like, wow, this is just a flower that's like uniquely different, almost like plant to plant.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like such an asshole because I've probably only been smoking full time for a couple of months, and I've got mates who have smoked full time for years, and I'm there going, can I see your cannabis, please? Like, can I just inspect that? Because I think it might be PGR. So,
Excuse me?
let me, okay, can I educate you guys about PGR? You know, like, I'm such a wanker.
It gets that way though, doesn't it? Because you're like, I have knowledge that you just
Well,
don't
it does,
have.
especially from my previous experiences. And I'm like, looking back on that, I'm pretty sure this is all like PGR kind of stuff. And then when you get like your intake method, so my dry herb vapes or oil vapes or anything like that, that works for me. So you need to find what your intake method that works for you, plus a kind of strain that works for you. Because I find more sativa-y, buzzy highs, I will freak the fuck out on, but more indicas where I like, that's what I want. I want to melt into the couch and die.
How'd you feel about the green crack then?
Okay, so green crack, right? Okay.
This was a day.
Yeah, I had.
Actually, it really wasn't. The day got cancelled.
Yeah, well, we didn't have any of our vapes charged.
Yeah,
and we're like, okay, well, let's just be peasants and go for a bong.
Oh, peasants.
I know,
That's loaded
but
language.
it's a big call.
It's not. It's accurate.
Oh, fuck off, man. I take that personally.
No, okay, so bongs for me, they're just too rough. Like, I can't do them, you know, whatever. So yeah, I had maybe a quarter of a cone of the green crack.
If that.
Yeah, you loaded it for me because
It was really small.
yeah, it was very small. I don't use bongs. I'm a vape.
Yep.
I'm a vape. I've been brought up
I'm a
to be a
vape
vape
queen.
lady.
Oh my god.
Thank you
my
very much. I
God.
know my strains and how I like to have my intake.
What temperature do you like to vape at?
Listen, I like to build it. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah. Where do you start?
I start maybe at 180, then I'll go to 190, then I'll go to 200.
Whoa, man. That's
Gradual
cool.
increase.
Correct, because that's the ride.
What
And that's
about
the vibe.
What about AVB? What do you do with
AVB.
your
Whoa,
shit
whoa.
after
We
you
missed.
vaped it?
We
I'm
forgot
way
what
too far. Like, yeah.
We missed where we were.
What? Oh, the green crack.
The green crack. Yes, that's the line.
Right. We'll get back to the AVB.
We'll get back to the AVB.
Fair enough.
But yes, the green crack, I found I had maybe a quarter of a cone of that. And she whispers, thank you. I started tapping on something and then we're like, oh, can you stop? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, green crack. I had maybe a quarter of a cone of that and I was off to the moon. Yeah.
I'm in sound effect mode in this episode, it seems.
It's good though. We have like a generator of something.
Well, I really can't wait till we get the board.
You need a sound.
The Rode make, the guys who make our mics, they have the Rode Podcaster, and you can plug a phone in as a mic, so you can import it. But it's also got the button, so you can program it for a few things.
That's fun.
Fucking
Fun.
can't wait till we get on that.
Bit of a soundboard.
Yeah, I reckon by next year that's a good goal for an upgrade.
Yeah.
So the green crack
I had a
killed you.
quarter of a cone and I fucking died. I was in the sink coughing up a lung, vomited a little bit,
Aw.
and then I was like, I need to lay down. I can't handle this. So I went to
No.
bed and you were just like holding me and I was there kind of like, oh fuck, I don't like this. This is too much. And I'd shut my eyes and I'd start tripping and
It's a lot even for me.
yeah, it was a lot. And I really couldn't handle it. Then after a little while, because you were trying to make me feel better and you're like, what's going on? What are you thinking about? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just stressed. Like, I just had tears streaming down my face. Like, and I was just freaking out. I just had too much. I smoked too much. And this is why I can't have bongs. Thank
This
you
is
for
the
listening to my
dangers.
TED talk about
Yeah.
bongs. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bongs are bad, okay?
Well, for me, I can't take a punch in the face of
High THC.
yeah. I
kind of
can't
like
do it.
sativa weed.
Correct. It'll kill
The
me.
thing is, we've had good times on sativas, but it is like really about the administration.
Yeah.
You know, you jump on the dry herb, you don't have to smoke that whole cone in like one go. You have it over maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes where you're sharing that one cone effectively. And then you're just like,
And that's what I found, because I found you were teaching me guitar when we had a sativa and I was buzzing for hours after and like dancing and singing and having a good time, or like we'd have that and then for some reason I'd talk to Josip's bird and then just be with him for hours being like, who's a good boy? Yeah, you're a good boy. What are you doing? What are you doing over there? You know? So yeah, it really kind of depends on like the environment and how I have it for sativas.
See, and now this is the sort of stuff that you've been kind of talking about as like you educating your friends and whoever else.
Correct.
And I think, you know, talking about different types of different ways of administrating cannabis, I think it's interesting like for you to be able to talk to your friends about that and potentially the greater cannabis community as a whole. Because you've come in with a mature mindset where a lot of other people would have been exposed at a younger age or a traumatic time where it became more of a cycle of abuse. And for you, it's kind of taken you out of that. Like that's how I've seen it, where rather than drinking, you became more present with what you were actually doing and being present with yourself. And I think alcohol takes that away from you. I think alcohol takes yourself away from yourself, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how to describe the alcohol high, but basically I feel like my ego's there, but my self that like governs my like moral compass, gone. Like just gone. Not completely, but like...
It's not gone. It's just really easy to ignore.
Yeah, you're just like, fuck off. Yeah. So like what I kind of like is... since you've started smoking cannabis, you've become, to me, more of a complete person where you're more comfortable within your own self and your own ideas and your own entertainment rather than perhaps in other people's. That's kind of what I've like noticed.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, yeah, like, I guess that's the case. Like for drinking and everything, you kind of just go, oh, I need to impress kind of everyone around me and be my best self. Where if you're, you know, sharing a vape with somebody or having the same strain of weed with somebody and you can just chill, like you're on the same level and you know you are, and it's just this whole different plane that you're just sort of chilling in with your friend and you're like, I don't care. I don't need to wear makeup all the time. Like, what is that? You know? Who cares about it?
Isn't it funny how the hippie mentality makes sense once you start smoking some bud? You're just like, yeah, fuck it, this is chill as. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, that's just inherently what comes with bud, I feel. Like, you're just like, chill out, man. Like,
it helps a lot of people do that.
Yeah. It's
I think there's plenty of folks who will just gravitate towards being like that without ever having or needing to smoke cannabis. Yeah, for sure. 100%. There are other folk who really benefit from something like, you know, an introduction to some kind of herbal medicine because of how they're wired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really do wonder how it would do, because like in Australia, partly because I come from a ethnic background, seeing it like with an older generation, I don't get to see that a lot. I see it with Aussie parents, and they're all really chilled out and they're just normal people, like how I'd put it. But ethnic parents, there's such a level of like, if they were more relaxed, how much better their lives would be. Like, like all these little frustrations would just be gone.
You don't get it. My white parents are like exactly like that.
No, I'm not saying all, but I'm talking about like there is the for me, the only parents that I ever have met have been Australian parents that have smoked, or American, or like more Anglo white, like
no, for sure,
rather than ethnic. And I'm not saying that at all like as like a stereotype. It's just those are the only older people that I meet here.
What I mean to say, like, there's a real interesting thing where once you get older and you gain all of these responsibilities and you become kind of like set in a certain way of looking and viewing the world, there's something about being worried and in your own head and getting so caught up in that like basic solutions that from the outside you're just like, you're causing yourself suffering and I can see that very clearly. To them, it's not clear because they're living in their own kind of like world. It's not necessarily like, I don't know. I have the same thing happen with my family.
Yeah.
And often you're right, it's part of the woke stereotype, but it's just kind of like weird.
Yeah, no, well, I'm from an Anglo-Indian background.
Yeah.
And it's the same with my family.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all very straight-laced.
universal, right?
Drinking is fine, but...
Yeah.
Which is really, I always find it bizarre that that kind of Anglo white like family and like just general older people, it's like, fuck yeah, drinking's all sweet. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's really mind-boggling because I'm like, because they all justify, oh, it's only like 1 or 2 glasses of wine, 1 or 2 beers.
I mean,
Some will drink more, but
I'm from a Scottish/Indian family, so
yeah,
I've
I'm
got-
Irish.
yeah, right. So like
but it's just weird.
we
I
can
always
handle
find-
our alcohol, and that's just part of life.
True.
Yeah.
And we live in Australia, so
I just,
you know.
see, one thing that I find for me that I just have like a complete blank on. I don't understand what life would be like drinking every night or like multiple times a week. Like, I don't know what that life's really like. Like, especially like if you're like at home doing it. I only understand if I was going out drinking. Like that I can understand that process, but like just having a fair few drinks at home to kind of mildly numb you.
I mean, this is a very similar kind of like therapeutic
I know that they get the same
option.
thing.
Yeah,
but
it's quite similar.
Yeah, it's just really strange because like I've never had that.
Sure. Except with cannabis.
Yeah. But like in terms of the alcohol vibe, like how does that feel like? Because when I find if I've had like a couple drinks, which I've had tonight, I feel very, but I've also smoked. But I feel as soon as I have those drinks, my brain is just like, I don't get that with bud.
Flatline.
Whether indica, sativa,
See,
hybrids,
that's the
anything.
opposite. That's the opposite for me. I find, this could be me justifying a problem, but I find
we
with
go.
alcohol, like I think a bit better on my feet. I'm a bit wittier. Like I'm not sure if it's because the alcohol is dulling out the
Your inhibition.
self-consciousness and the inhibition. So I'm just like, okay, whatever, I'll say whatever I want. But I find with cannabis, it makes me think before I speak a bit
Yeah.
more, and I'm a lot quieter.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I find that the same. I get that as well, but for me, I don't feel I'm smarter on alcohol at all.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't
Quick.
feel like
I
I'm
can be
smarter,
quick.
but I feel like I can. I'm
Quicker.
and I'm. Yeah,
I
think
don't smoke and become big brained either.
Yeah.
Though, like as much as that happens, there's a
Yeah.
kind of like qualitative difference in how my thoughts might emerge.
Yeah.
But it's not like I feel any more intelligent than if I was sober, essentially. Because I've smoked weed, dude, thousands of times. Smoking it like another, like just one more time isn't going to make it like that more real for me.
Yeah.
I can go back to being sober, and everything that I've learned from cannabis,
Yeah, no,
everything that I've learned from
100%.
psychedelic trips is there.
Yeah.
No,
my
100%.
experience.
It 100% is. It's just more where I would be if I didn't do that.
That's interesting. I don't think I can envision that. It's identity.
But
defining.
see, when I say that, like, that's what I mean. I don't understand how you can get to like old and not have that.
Oh, like I guess it's just the diversity of life, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it strange how humans can be different?
My mother always told me, she goes, when she was talking about like drugs and alcohol with us as we're growing up, she's talking about cannabis. She goes, oh, your father and I were at a party one time and we saw something going around and somebody passed it to me and I just said, no, thank you, and pass it along. And that's how easy it can be, Geordie. You just got to say no. And then your father and I upped and left from that party because we were just like, well, we don't want to be here anymore. This
with
isn't
these
our scene.
losers.
So we're just going to move on. And that's how easy it is. You just say no.
Just say no, Georgia.
Yeah.
Fucking loser.
Thanks,
So did you
Mum.
take that advice?
No.
No. But I think that's what you're supposed to do as a kid. You're told not to do something and you're like, cool, I don't want to, I'm not allowed
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, like I'm not allowed cookies before dinner. So that's all I'm going to think about is having cookies and I want them now. I can't be told no.
How dare you?
Yeah, right. I can't be. I'm the youngest of 4. So literally I've got 3 people before me who have been like, oh no, you shouldn't do this because it happened and I did and this and that happened. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. You got to make your mistakes to know that they're mistakes. Otherwise, how would you know that they're mistakes, you know?
It's like Rage Against the Machine when you're younger.
Like a rat in a cage.
Yeah, exactly. Got to break out. like a rat in a cage or a bat in
a Wuhan lab.
Or a freak on a leash.
In a wet market.
All right. We need to kind of get this.
Hey,
towards
AVB.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we were AVBing.
We were talking about after and before and maybe vaping.
How do we naturally get back to AVB?
AVB,
Talk
just for
about
reference.
it like this.
Right. So
Already
I think
vaped bud, just for those who don't know.
Yeah, AVB. So the first time I met you, Mitch, I had an edible.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember this.
I remember.
This is great. I never remember anything. And everyone's like telling me these stories and I'm like, man, I was there.
Yeah, so you took me for a drive and I had an edible a little while earlier and I was still sort of discovering what I liked and what I was into. So it was edibles made with the AVB. Yeah, and that's when I first met you and we were in the car and we picked you up and I was like, I'm so sorry. I can't talk that well. I've had an edible.
Yeah, I can remember that.
And you were
distinctively.
like, don't worry about it. Just write it out.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. And I was like, thank you so much. Because I was sitting in the front seat, mildly freaking out, but also having a great time because I was in the car and I was like, whee, going up and down the hills.
Oh my God. Isn't it great?
Yeah, it feels like you're going to blast off into space.
I love that sensation.
Oh my God, is the
It's
car
not very-
actually on the road or is
It's
it
not
in
very
the air?
safe to be like super stoned on an edible and like driving at the same time.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
she wasn't driving.
No.
No,
I was
I
very
know
sober
what you
here
mean.
driving, you know?
Yeah,
what you mean.
he was sober driving and I had an edible, and every time we went over a hill I just thought we weren't going to come down, we're just going to fly off into space.
Keep
and I was like,
going.
you know what, I'm not mad, this is fun, I like it.
yeah.
So I'm down for AVB 100% because it 100% is a thing. I don't get where people are like, oh no, but you've already smoked it so it doesn't work. Like, that's not.
Am I just
a
making
thing.
it up? when I have an edible? Like,
right. Is that just a placebo effect?
I don't know. Some people are weird, but like I will say, AVB is a bit different to like obviously using your buds.
100%.
It makes you more just sleepy rather than high. Like,
And that could be because maybe a lot of the THC
it's
content
gone.
is.
But you've got heaps of CBD and CBN still in there.
Yeah, right.
So like it just like makes you want to sleep. It's such a relaxing.
And potentially medicinal too.
Oh, 100%.
Have I had an edible with
With AVB. Yes, you have.
no,
but
without AVB?
yes, I think so. Most of the
Right.
time I use a mix.
Ah, yeah.
Okay.
Like,
right.
and it's normally like pretty good as a result. Like
Yeah.
it's just, you'll get basically the,
If you use like a high THC bud,
yeah. With
And then
it,
you've got the
yeah, it's just this extra
CBD.
kick. It's just like, what's going on? I'm like so up and down.
To say, I have actually found with the one edibles recently, which I'm assuming are all AVB.
No, they're mix.
Okay, well, never mind then.
They're more AVB. They are more AVB though.
Because I was going to say the high doesn't last as long. You can
Yeah.
definitely feel for AVB edibles, the high drops off all of a sudden, but that's probably still at the 4-5 hour mark. Like it's
Yeah.
still a long ride.
sure.
Yeah.
It really matters with the concentration of how much you've got in there too.
Oh, 100%. And every time, like we've been saying the whole time, I'm still a baby into this scene.
Yeah.
I always think that I'm finding a balance or like my threshold for what I can
Yeah.
have.
She
And
gets
then
cooked a little
I just
too
get-
often
Yeah, I
sometimes.
just get blown right out of the water when I think
Common
that.
mistake.
Yeah, like
I'm
I
even making it.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
happens.
I tried to push my boundaries and it's like, just kidding, you still can't handle your shit.
But how will you know?
You know, how do you
yeah,
know
you gotta-
unless you,
you gotta
push the
work it out.
boundaries, you know?
really do.
Yeah, it's pretty rare for anything to really like get me on a green out level, but lately that green crack, man.
Ah, dude. Like honestly, I think it fucks with me so much because my favorite buds are honestly like close to 50-50 in terms of their ratio.
Yeah.
Like you smoke them and it's like I'm high but I'm not.
Yeah, you just chill as well.
It's not it's like you're not even stoned.
Yeah, you're just like...
But you have this kind of like, no, it's not like overwhelming. It's not like a sensation that overwhelms you. It's simply like this clear-headedness, this lucidity, this clarity that you wouldn't expect from weed.
Yeah.
I've had that from like maybe a handful of buds, and every time they've been like, oh yeah, this is like a 50-50 THC CBD, and I'm like, get fucked. That can't be true. And it's like, no, it is. I'm like, fine. I think the reason why is because the two actually are like highly symbiotic. There's probably some other components happening as well, but when you have a kind of like even ratio occurring between the two, you have an experience which is different.
Yeah, 100%.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to try like your really higher CBD strains.
Yeah, no, I agree. We just posted an article on the CBD.
I mean, we
dominant
do our
strains.
CBD oil daily, but you know, just trying to smoke it would be interesting. I have smoked CBD distillate, like it's like a white crystal where it's pure, and you do it as like a dab, and fuck, man, you're just like, whew,
That
wave
sounds
of calm.
beautiful.
Wave of calm. You're not high at all. You're just wave of calm. And then I have seen CBD cartridges going around too. I've been wanting to try one of them.
Beauty.
So
Yeah, they
that'd
look.
be good.
They actually, the experience I've had with CBD cartridges have been bloody awesome.
They'd be amazing for people, 100%.
But I wanted to start wrapping up because I think we're hitting around an hour.
Wow. We could just keep... I'm having a great time, mate.
We could do an episode 2. We could end this one and go into another.
This is true. I haven't...
All right.
I don't know, man.
Let's but like I wanted to wrap this up with, lately you've been talking about educating your friends and other girls, and you kind of had an idea with it.
Yeah, so I had I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like such a wanker for being like, hey guys, so like I've only been smoking like for 6 months, but I know everything now. And it's because I've been hanging out with you guys who literally know most things about
I like what your
all
friends
this
said
scene.
about us.
Yeah, so with my friends, they were like, oh, gee, you didn't smoke at all, and now all of a sudden it just feels like you've had a crash Yale course in cannabis. And I'm like, well...
Yeet. Fab
Yeah.
course. You should tell them it was fab.
Yeah, that's kind of... Well, that's what I've done. You know, I've had a few people talk to me about CBD. I've had a few people talk to me about PGRs, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to link straight to fab because you guys have kind of condensed everything down into... you know, like fast learning for what's happening. So whenever I see them smoking PGRs or if I see them with their weed, I'm like, hang on, let me look at it. I get my torch out, I take a photo with the flash and I zoom in and I'm like, okay, so what I need to tell you about all this like brown stuff and all these hairs is something, you know. So just hold on to your knickers because we're going to learn today, you know. And I feel like such a wanker, but I do. But I also think that's important because, you know, I mean, I don't really care what I put in my body, to be honest, but because...
Wow.
No, well, because I've been
She doesn't
raised...
care,
I've been
like-
raised in a healthy weed household, which is you.
Oh, she means that.
Because I've been raised in a healthy weed household, I do care what kind of cannabis I smoke. So if I'm going to be smoking, I'm going to do it properly.
Just remember,
right.
babe, it's all
Yeah.
about the vapes and it's all about the bush.
So...
I love the bush.
You have to emphasize that.
I love the bush.
Come on, Yosef. You didn't have to make it weird.
No,
I was born weird.
it's true. Well, I'm not sure why I'm dating him, but
It's a good question.
It's the weed.
that's a topic for another podcast. We'll get a psychologist in. I'm just going to feature myself. I'm inviting myself back and we're just going to like unpack all of my drama in my life. Thank you.
And we're going to do it live right here on the Friendly Aussie podcast.
It's
So, yeah, I
relationship
think-
counseling.
Yeah, but I think
I'm not the counselor though. I'm just here to watch.
just it all
It's
unfold.
not supposed to be
crumble.
some cuck shit, but it sounds like it actually.
But I think what... Well, I mean, it wouldn't be cucking if you're watching. You know what I mean?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't know how that's supposed to work. I'm not even gonna get into it.
Let's not. This is not.
I'm
the
just
time
looking
and
down at
place.
the weed and just thinking, what have I got myself into?
But I do think what's important and what I like is that I'm finding I do get different experiences on different strains, and I do get different experiences with
Vape oil.
PGR versus non-PGR, and I get experience between dry herb vape versus oil vape, and I bongs and joints and all of that. So I guess
You just kind of want to share that, I guess.
Yeah, I do want to share that. So
Cannabis, cannabis journey.
yeah, well,
That's so bad.
I mean, I guess I do kind of want to share that and share my experience because obviously my interests have changed.
You're telling me you're a cannabis bitch?
Yeah. I feel this is so awkward.
You're so awkward. I'm so stoned, hey.
Yeah,
You're so-
I
you're
can tell. I
I'm
know.
stoned as fuck.
Guys.
I've had way too much because I've also had the 3 beers and it's just like, hey, buddy, you like crossfading, don't you? Enjoy. Bye.
Time to record a podcast.
I've actually found my balance between having some weed and having alcohol. It took me a very, very long time. One of the first times we went out, we went to a concert. I drank myself into oblivion, as I used to do.
Boy, how good's
And
wax?
then he gave me some oil vape, and me having no filter and no self-control on alcohol as I do.
Oh, that was at the Hungry Jack's. That's
Correct.
right. Yeah.
We were in Hungry Jack's and I was like, yeah, no, I'll have some weed. Yeah. I'll be hard. I'm cool.
She had
whatever.
like 3 puffs. I thought she was going to have 1.
No, I had like 3 giant puffs of the dab pen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll get ya.
Correct. And by the time we got home, I was vomiting. I
Damn,
don't
son.
remember eating Hungry Jack's. I don't think I ate it. I think I kept the Whopper in the fridge
Yeah, you
and
did.
ate it the next morning cold on the bed,
Oh my god,
feeling really sorry for myself.
that doesn't sound like a good time.
It wasn't positive.
It's
no.
alcohol.
But
But that was
sometimes-
mostly alcohol. But the weed did sort of. I was going to vomit from the alcohol anyway.
I think there's a
but the weed
certain-
sent me on the
There's
spiral.
a certain hazard or like risk involved with crossfading. Sometimes it just is going to end up cold, hungry Jack Swapper in the fridge
The next morning, yeah. And other times you'll have a good experience. Like I've found my balance where I've had a few drinks and I've had maybe 1 or 2 puffs from the oil vape, just small regular ones. And then maybe a couple of drinks more and maybe 1 or 2 again. And then I just feel stupid. Like I've still got all my faculties the next morning because I haven't drank as much because I smoked, but I haven't smoked massively because I was drinking. So
It's a good way to regulate
yeah,
yourself.
like the next morning I didn't feel hungover. Just during the night, I just felt a little bit silly. I had no inhibitions because of the alcohol,
It's good you've been able to
but I
work
felt
with it.
so good because I had some weed.
I think like definitely when you're mixing something like cannabis with alcohol, which are 2 very potent substances.
Drugs, yes.
Assuming the 2 drugs
I'm so proud of
that
my
you're
baby.
having a fucking puff and a drink of are like really affecting and impacting you in a positive way. It's great. It's fantastic. It's like an awesome time.
It was so much
But
fun.
there's so much like, I don't know, keeping safe and like making sure that you're doing the right thing and like being responsible that's involved in doing that
Yeah.
in a sense. So it's a fun way to test how good you can be.
Yeah, totally.
I am, as you're talking about this, I'm just spinning in my
Yeah,
own
he's
world.
dying. He's having his second peak of that oil vape. It's happening
Yeah,
now.
it's happening.
The one I told you about earlier, it's happening now.
It's a bigger ride.
Yeah.
Wee. Wee.
You're supposed to become like a cartoon character.
I'm so lucky.
She's so lucky.
Lucky,
You're with
lucky,
Amy.
lucky. Oh wow, that's true. You went in a different direction.
So yeah, I mean, just to circle back, I think that
Good on you.
yeah, thank you. It was a big like meta.
Oh yeah,
Circling back,
it's a
'cause
literal callback.
It's a literal callback, yeah. So I think it's important to learn what kind of strains you're into, learn about PGRs, and learn your intakes. So I've actually started for myself being a little weenie baby in this industry, but I've
How's that going for you?
I mean, I haven't officially started, but by the time this comes out, maybe I have. But Ms.
She will. I'll make
Ms.
sure of it.
Canna Beach,
Miss
Awesome.
Canna Beach.
my Instagram handle. I'm just going to be sort of just posting about like my new interests because I feel like I can't post on my personal page
Yeah.
where I do have all my family and friends and cousins and aunties and uncles, like
Look,
everyone
I
who's
get
on
that.
Instagram, you know?
I try not to advertise it there either.
Yeah, right. So I don't want to do that. So I was like, I'll just get another handle off my own page and just sort that out. Yeah. So MSZ Cannabeach with 2 E's because I'm a big beach.
Find is it like a bee? Are you gonna have like bees on your merch and shit?
I might have bees. Like
beach.
there is
Oh.
another podcast I love listening to, which is. Wait, am I allowed to advertise other podcasts
Yeah,
on here?
of course.
Absolutely.
No, but it's Jonathan Van Ness's Getting Curious. I love that. And he had a podcast that was How Do We Be Less Rude to Bees?
I
I'm
love
like,
that.
How do we be less rude to bees? Thank you so much. I need to know.
Especially the native ones. The natives are such cuties.
Yeah, exactly. Like we would have nothing if we didn't have bees. Even pollination of the plant that we love so much.
Cannabis.
So true.
We need some bees.
You need pollinators.
That's right.
I mean, the thing about bees is that they're kind of like secondary pollinators for cannabis. They usually go for the sweeter stuff or like the stuff that's a bit more...
Yeah, because it goes through on the wind mostly. Hey, like it's just loose.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, there are other species, and I guess pollen itself can transfer through
with
with...
cannabis because it produces quite a lot of pollen.
Yeah, yeah.
The wind just goes. There's like stories of like old growers who've growing in national parks or like some public land or somewhere even private, but like out in the fucking whoop whoop, where they've gotten pissed off because their plants have fucking seeded up,
Yeah.
and it means someone in the fucking area let a male live,
Yeah, exactly.
and you're just like, oh fucking.
You
kill
didn't
the
cull it.
cunt. Oh, you
Males are trash.
It's true.
Yeah.
Gotta kill them, man.
Gotta kill 'em all. Da-na-na-na. Anyway,
There was something I was going to tell.
so with the cannabis thing, we've kind of been talking about maybe revamping a little bit of Fab's cannabis confessionals, and Miss Cannabis could run them and curate them,
Facilitate that.
and maybe do a bit of a gossip column.
This is a
or-
safe space. Tell me, we know all your secrets.
That's some weird shit.
Yeah, like
Some
Children of
cult
the
shit.
Corn. Hell
Exactly. Well,
Guys,
you always got to
let's
make
start
it
a
about
cult.
cults. Come on, Georgia. It's not even funny at this
Really?
point.
It's just concerning.
Exactly.
Especially because I had a mate over the other day and she was like, Georgia, do you want to... She was like, gee, do you want to start a cult? And I'm like,
Yes.
yes.
It's gonna happen. You know what you put out there actually does become
Oh,
reality.
100%. You manifest that shit.
Man, I've been trying to manifest this cult since grade 10.
Yeah, well...
Dude, it's already happened. What is Fab again? What did you just say? Brands are cults?
Oh yeah.
Did you not just...
I did say that a while back. Yeah, it's been like over an hour.
It's kind of a cult.
But I did want to have that talk though. I don't know if we do it in this one or what. But what is a stoner?
Yeah.
But I'm thinking we do that on a second episode. But maybe we make it just a short 15-minute episode.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I think, yeah, you might need someone... You might need a few, like, testimonials from different people.
That'd be good as a video.
Yeah.
Different definitions of
I was
stoner.
going to talk to you guys about something. I did think of it and then it's gone. But it was something that I was like, this is probably relevant for this podcast. Something to do with smoking.
That's all right. I think we wrap it up because it has gone over like an hour and a bit, like hour 10.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
It's just because alcohol and I'm like, I'm ready to... I'm still like, let's keep talking.
Try and remember it, and then next episode we'll start it off.
The next episode.
Georgia meant this. You know, when that
Yeah.
section where she was like, I couldn't remember what it was. She remembered
Oh
it.
no!
You can make an Instagram post about it. Boom.
Yeah, I actually, on the whole remembering thing, I have had one of my girlfriends who, she's smoked weed before, but she's had issues with anxiety and mental health and everything before, so she's a bit nervous about going back into
Cannabis.
smoking weed or anything. And I've already forgotten. Oh no, that's it. That's exactly it.
Remembering.
She was asking about, hey, how have you found that your memory is going while you've been smoking weed more? Like, how do you think, has it affected you? And I'm like, oh, well, I don't think it's affected me that much, because I really don't think it has. It's more that I won't remember things that aren't important. I will still remember things happening if they're significant and if they affect myself or somebody. But little things like when you and I ordered sushi and you were like, yeah, we've had this before. Remember we did the swap of this, that and the other. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? I don't remember that. And you're like, no, we absolutely did do that. Remember, you swapped, you don't eat fish, so I had more of the tuna, and then there was more chicken, so you had that, but we did kind of a swap with the avocado. And I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't me. Hey, like, I don't remember that.
I'm definitely of the belief that there's some things that just don't, they don't like register. Maybe if you like really meditated on it, you could find that memory. But it's like just not consciously available to you because you were stoned as fuck.
The third time around that we ordered it,
Yeah.
that when I was eating it, I was going, oh yeah, I do remember that actually. Yeah, I remember we had this conversation, and I remember in that conversation I was like, no, I don't remember that. That wasn't me.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
So yeah, it's
Trippy.
yeah, it's affected me as far as stereotypes of what stoners are. It's forgetful. It's only affected me in a slight amount where I don't remember things that aren't important.
Yeah.
Like splitting sushi with my partner. You know what I mean? Like that's not very important.
No, I hear
But
that.
I remembered.
It's important.
As long as one of you did, because
Yeah.
then if there was no one to remember whether
it
the
happen?
sushi was split, did it really ever happen? Yeah.
Exactly. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it still make a noise?
Hey, Georgia, what
Thanks,
does
Georgia.
one hand sound like clapping?
Oh wow, that sounds beautiful.
That doesn't sound good.
ASMR. Like this.
No, that's not good either.
I think we really need to wrap this up. We're at 46 minutes on the second one.
Oh
Wow.
fuck, man! You've condemned me to a life of.
I'm so sorry.
laborious
You're going to
editing.
have to listen to
There's
my
a lot of
voice a
editing.
lot. I'm
Alright,
very scattered, so I'm all over the place
All
as
right,
well.
we've had a fun time here. I hope Corona treats you well, as in it doesn't.
I feel like I've only just scratched the surface on that because we were going to go
We could
down the
have you
whole
talk for hours.
psychedelic pathway and all like we were going to make a
Episode
whole thing of it.
2.
Listen, I might just have to be back.
We're just going to wrap it up here.
I'm just inviting myself back onto your podcast. Thank you for having me so much.
Thanks for coming for G. Bye. Bye. Miss Canna Beach on Instagram. Bye.